Alright guys, what's going on? Thanks so much for tuning in for yet another episode. This episode is going to be a little bit different. If you guys were subscribed last year when I came up here, I did an episode, or a couple episodes I think, called Words with Grandpa, and unfortunately I was not able to do that this year. All three of us were not sitting on the dock for any length of time to fish and talk, so I was gone on the four-wheeler and I came back and my dad and grandpa were sitting in the garage talking, so I pulled out my phone and just did a voice recording of the conversation. So I'm going to share that with you guys now. Hopefully you enjoy it. It's just, you gotta encapsulate history so that way you have a good way to remember it. So without further ado, I'm going to share that with you guys, and thanks so much for watching.
Where the water line was, we hit the main water main and it shot on water off. It shot water 15 feet in the air, and Quinn's was going to shut that off, you know, and he turned it the wrong way and they blew the shut off. I said, Quinn, get out of here and don't come back. And we were there till 2 o'clock in the morning. Bob Eller worked, so did Mel Mickelson, and Charlie Alley from the plant. We were just starting the plant, you know. And he come down there lipping off and shooting off his mouth, and they didn't have no telephone all the way to the Canadian border. Everybody's, Grand Marais is hurting bad in the sheriff department. And this guy from the telephone company, had one guy, he looked up at Charlie. He said, you get the hell out of here before I haul you out of here. And he said, Robin has not made any mistakes. We did. And if you don't get the hell out of here, he said, I'll have the sheriff haul you out of here. That's how he told him. Just like that. And we were there till 2 o'clock in the morning. We had the telephones back, everything. And Bob was holding wires, and Mel and me. There were so many different colors, you know. And there was 3 of them other guys, and we had a tent up, heat in there. And who was it? They had come and brought us coffee and lunch during the night. I think it was Mel's wife, if I'm mistaken. And Quinn didn't go to bed that night neither. He got where he lived at that time. And that was the longest night I ever put in like that. But we got her back. And Charlie says to me, he said, who's that guy? He said, from that telephone company. I said, he's part owner. I said, you better stay the hell away from him. Whatever you do, stay, like, just what I said. And I said, you don't bother. When we got problems like this, and he said, boy, I said, I belong to Gopher State. And I said, if these other guys around here don't, I said, I ain't worried about them. When I start to have something digging, and Mel would even crack that main, you know, that was just a little ways away. When we got power lines going across. That was really something else. We got that all licked. It was nice, and that was a big job down there too. He spent over $100,000 down there. We redid that and made it special and made living quarters above them. Redid that whole thing for them. That was when we were starting the plant. Then we went down to, after we had the plant running pretty good, for John Holmes, or Ronnie Holmes, and John was ahead of the railroad, and Larsmont, and Ronnie's aunt give him some property to build a new home. You can see up and down at Larsmont on the upper side, not the lake side. But we were up there. Les Frantz had a home, big home up there. He was a doctor. And we're right across the road from them, and we built that house. That was a split level house. And then we had it all enclosed when the bad weather hit, and I said, you'll see me in March. I'm not going any further. I said, and he said, that's fine. I said, it costs too much. We got to have heat here. I said, you need to keep some heat in here. He did. But I said, we'll spend half our time just getting organized. And then I said, we don't accomplish half it costs too much, I said, to build like, in the 3-4 months, and I said, it'll go fast. We finished it in 2.5 months after that, and he could move in. March, we had it in the middle of May, and he was ready to move in. But besides working at the plant.
Nope, the last house I worked on was that the one on the shore, where it was just you, me, and Marty. For that guy, that clown, that...
Where?
The last house I worked on was that guy who came that one night at dinner time, and he said he rolled out his plans on the car and said, "Can you build this?" And you said, "Yeah." And he said, "Can you build it and have it enclosed in 10 days?" And you rolled him up and said, "When you guarantee me the weather, then I come back and talk to me." And then he came back a month later, but he only wanted you and me and Marty to do it. That was down at the shore. It's not there anymore because those condos went in.
Oh, Cole bought them out.
Yeah.
They bought them out, that big corporation did. They bought Mickey Lawrence's place. They gave him $500,000 for his home. $500,000, and that Mick owned another 10 acres, and they bought that. Plus, they bought this guy, this guy's house, or that cabin he had.
Well,
Yeah.
Because you put the deck on the front, and there was 22 steps down to the ground. I'll never forget when we tipped the walls up. It was windy as can be, and you just said, "If the wind blows it over, let it go. Don't try to hold it,
No.
because we can get more lumber." And everything was 2x6s or bigger.
Yeah, we did a lot of work all over. I did work for the school teacher, the guy that when I went to school and that, and told you had to take that test or you weren't playing basketball. They were Coco.
Oh.
Well, I did work for him. His
Yeah.
wife was teaching him in Duluth, and Coco was retired, and he begged me to come down there. They had a big 2-story home, and he said, "I'm going to refurbish it," and he said, "I'd like to have a deck up to walk outside as well as the one below." And I said, "You're going to get the permits?" "You get them," he said. I went right to the city, got the permits, we put in sonotubes, and that Casey Frank was working with me, with us at that time. And we had sonotubes 8 feet in the ground. We had the power company drill the holes for it.
8 feet.
8 feet in the ground before we could hit solid stuff. And them sonotubes were 12-inch. And the power company drilled them holes. You know what the power company charged me? $50.
What?
4 holes, $50.
You
They had to
couldn't
move
do
the
it
mast
yourself.
anyway, and they were there because they set poles, see? And they had a big auger in it, and they drilled them, and Marv said, "How much did you have to get under the table to pay these guys?" "Nothing." I said, "I'll buy them lunch if they want it."
Wow.
We took them,
How many
I
hours
think
did
they
it
met
take
us, at Perkins. I think I bought their lunch for them guys at that. I remember that for that favor because they didn't have to do that. That saved me a lot of money.
Oh, well, yeah. Man, can you do it?
Casey Frank, the young Casey, a heck of a ball player too. Baseball, a tremendous guy, and good worker. And that he went right down there, and we set them, and then we filled in. They drilled, and they kept caving. They drilled, then we put a crib we set them, and then we squared it and plumbed it, and we put the reinforcing rod 1 inch in the center. Poured that mud. They come from Duluth, ready mix there. It took about 8 yards.
Did you have to have it certified too?
Oh yeah. Oh, they come there and inspect it. Yep. And I said to Coco, I said, "We got to have electricity." He said, "You get them," because he said, "I don't know who's any of these people around here." He said, "You just get them, Clarence." He said, "You oversee it, because I know you'll be after them." And I did, and they had the building inspectors every time. Insulating, I had check when we got done insulating. We sheetrock before they mud. We had Larry Sutherland from Finland. They were doing work for a condominium there on the lakeside, That's all they were doing is sheetrocking and taping, the two boys and him. And I bumped into him and I said, hey, I said, I got some sheetrocking and stuff, I said, in the house, because we're going to build decks, and then we got to screen them in. And he wanted the roof on. We're going to do that, match the roof to the other. And he wanted the upstairs bedrooms and stuff re-sheetrocked. We spent a lot of money in that place. He was really good. There was no if, buts, and ands. He wasn't feeling real good neither at that time. He retired before he'd like to retire. But he fixed everything up good for her, and they were both, he was a good guy. His son is airplane pilot.
I know he's in my class.
Yeah.
His son's name's Chris.
Yeah, I didn't think Chris Coca would. Marv said, you've done a lot of work for them teachers. My word. Every single one of them. Mosette is dead.
Mm-hmm.
He had cancer. He died before his wife.
Well, we did Schnorr's place too. We put that garage door opener on there.
Who?
Schnorr.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a clown in the
Oh, was he ever. He was something else.
Then put that garage door
For
open.
I couldn't believe that he was an industrial arts. I could not believe he was an industrial arts teacher.
Drafting.
Yep.
But I remember we put the garage door opener in there, and that's one of the first ones they came out with. And the airplane would fly over, and the garage would open because it was on the same frequency. Because they didn't have much frequency then. Difference.
Yeah, that happened to Bernie's up too when we put that one in. Bob and Eller and I said, Bob, you read the instructions. And I said, pay attention, because we had the garage door set, and I said, up and down. I said, but I said, the frequency, you pay attention to that because you set that. And then I said, you set for the controls, and I said, that has to have a certain such and such, and he did, he paid attention to that. Golly, they were flying over us from the Duluth airport, the National Guard. They were flying them, 5 minutes they're in Silver Bay circling, noisier and all, get out. A certain vibration, and that door would open. And Mrs. Zupp, she was just about, she'd call Bernie, get Clarence back here, that door opens automatically. I'm scared to back out, that door goes up and down. And he come back there, and I took one look, and I pulled it back down, and Bob says, what? I said, we're going to set this. I'm sick and tired of this, so I put 999 on the whole thing, and it never, and then that was it. There's a 16-foot door, too.